Changing class identities. So how globalization and increased choices has brought about changing in class through identities. So Pew in 2004 argues that recent global economic changes have resulted in a blurring of traditional class identities. We can see this in cultural changes in taste and consumption. In particular, a joining up of working class and middle class taste makes it increasingly difficult to define class identity clearly. Clear boundary line between working, middle, and upper class identities have changed dramatically, although they have not disappeared completely. So the argument is the class identity is now based on consumption. Mm-hmm. So we wouldn't know. You might be in the middle class, at the same time be able to afford things that the upper class can afford. Mm-hmm. Do you get the point here? So lower class, upper class, or middle class, we might all be in the same spot at the same time. Mm-hmm. Then it becomes difficult for us to find the difference between us. So that is what changing class identity is talking about here. So it means, though there will be boundary, but the point is, you wouldn't still know, except if you go in depth to know who is who. Do you get it? So your perception from afar is, oh, I think all of them are in the middle class. Oh, they are, because they can, based on what they can afford. So you might, someone in the middle class, or in the working, let's say in the middle class, might be able to afford a car that someone in the upper class can afford. But the individual in the middle class might be able to afford it because its company or her company has allowed it to happen. But you wouldn't know that because it's not going to be written in the car that, oh, it was bought from the company or the company pays for that. Yeah. So based on consumption, based on what we consume, it becomes difficult for us to separate middle class, upper class, or social or ruling class.
People who are upper class always wear clothes that are not upper class, so you wouldn't know until they show you what they have.
What they have,
so
what
like, oh,
through their pulse or
yes.
Okay. So for Savage in 2007, he argues that although people still use class categories as a source of identity, the meaning of these categories has changed. Greater emphasis is placed on individual rather than collective experiences. This undermines the importance of class, which is by its nature collective. As a result, working class identities in particular have become more varied. Class identity is becoming increasingly fluid, based on someone's ability to choose who they are or what they want to do. So, like what we just said, class identity is becoming something of the past, because these days there are choices for people. As a result of that, they might afford what you think they cannot. They might afford what they can afford things that you think they cannot afford, and they are able to afford it not because they can, but they have the opportunity to. So I could tell you I'm shopping online. The same as you're going to say you're shopping online. Whatever you're buying online, we don't want to know. But you're using your credit card or your debit card. I'm using my debit card. So I'm shopping online. You're shopping online. That is the point. So the value of what you are buying, nobody knows. But the point is that you have access to what I have access to. So as a result of that, class becomes irrelevant. Do you get the point here? So
we have the same thing.
We do the same thing. We can use the same airplane.
Yeah. So
how do we talk about class? Oh, we have the economic class, we have the business class or the first class. Even an individual that is poor could save up to go to business class or first class.
Or a person who's very good, like he's in an upper class, he doesn't want to waste money on it.
Will be in economic class.
Exactly.
So we wouldn't know. So it becomes something that we can't really identify. So the social class thing is trying to become, is going to oblivion. That is the point I'm making there. So now we go to changes in gender identity.